You know, it's so nice. We're down here again in the Windsor area, and we're on the Detroit River, and we're going to be covering the ICHA 9th Annual Handy-Capable event. Right now, we're taking advantage of the white bass that are in the river. You know what? We're going to have a very nice fish fry.
Canadian Sport Fishing, brought to you in part by Rapala, premium fishing gear crafted from experience. Yamaha Outboards, reliability starts here. Salle, the outdoors superstore. Lucky Strike, all you need is a Lucky Strike.
So what we've got here, you know, these charts are so nice. There's Lake St. Clair, Lake Erie, and there's our little boat. But I'm going to zoom in here. So this will take a couple of seconds, and you'll see exactly where we're fishing on the Detroit River. We're actually fishing the Canadian side, and strategically, you can see this is the actual channel that's up to 40 feet deep, anywhere from about 15 to 30, 40. And we're going to be working our way in and fishing this shoreline. So I'm going to just go out for 1 sec. Very strategic. It's a Y. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to be deploying the Minn Kota Talon, which we have this boat equipped with. It's kind of a poling system where the pole goes down 8 feet just by the push of a button. And you can do it on the actual unit or remote. And this pole goes down and sticks into the ground or in between rocks and holds the boat in position, even in about a 2 to 4 mile an hour current like we have here. And whenever you're done fishing, or you want to move spots, you just hit the button or the remote that you can wear on your wrist, and the pole comes back up. Okay, we're on the spot. I think we're in about probably 6 feet of water. Watch how easy it is to deploy this thing. All I'm going to do is push the down button. Watch the light indicator, shows how deep it's going to go, and in a minute, you'll actually feel the boat lifting up a little bit. There. So we're engaged right now, stuck in the bottom. When I want to disengage it, I just push the up arrow and we'll be lifting up. This is so nice. You could use a normal anchor, but you know, a lot of times with a rope, you got to have a 3-to-1 ratio. And with the current, you got to wait till it catches. Then when it catches, and then you got to pull up against the current, and you know, sometimes you got to cut the anchor off because it sticks. The pole is really nice. You know, white bass, a lot of people call them silver bass, but they're actually called white bass, are very prolific. They move into shallow water and especially current areas to spawn. And look at the size. This is probably an average size. It's not a monster fish. Pat, the size of the white bass that are in here are beautiful. You don't mind doing a netting for me?
Of course not.
This guy just swallowed it. So when the water temperature is anywhere from about 12 Celsius to about 20 Celsius, these fish move in. This guy hit really well. You can see that Vibrex spinner just barely sticking out of his mouth. I'm just going to pop the hook out. Hold on. Is this average size, Pat?
Yes, it is. Actually, they even grow even bigger here.
Wow. Because I know you were telling me that you were getting some that were over 2 pounds. You know,
2.5 pounds was the biggest one.
For this fish. So, and you know, these white bass have beautiful white meat. So they're excellent eating, okay? So that's what we're talking about right there. That guy, I'm guessing, is about 15 inches long. And I'm going to be releasing it, but we're going to be keeping some fish for eating because they're so good to eat. So you'll notice how dark the water is. I'm just going to put him down without releasing it because we've had a rain. But look at how gorgeous they are, and he's going to disappear real quick. So he's got lots of energy. Let me, your little white bass. There he goes. Now, one of my favorite lures to use for them, and this goes back almost 40 years because I used to do a lot of white bass fishing, is a spinner and a plastic minnow. So what I've got here, this is a Vibrex #2, and you can see that it says that right on the blade. And it's silver. And the key thing about the Vibrex is that it has this bell right there with the gear inside. So when the water goes through it and over it, it actually moves from side to side and it hits the gear that's inside and makes a lot of noise. And then you'll notice that I changed the treble hook, and I'll show you the packaging, and I just put a single hook on because it's a lot easier to take a single hook out of the fish than a treble, and then about a 2.5-inch plastic minnow. So this is what the spinner looks like when you purchase it in the pack. You can see that it comes equipped with a treble hook, and because there's no split ring, you have to use wire cutters that are on your pliers to cut off the treble hook. And then that single hook is called a Siwash hook, and it actually has an open eye. Maybe you can see it through the package. So you slide that onto the eye of the spinner and then tighten it with your pliers. And a good plastic to use is one that's scent impregnated. So this is the Trigger X, and these particular ones are about 2.5 inches long. So these are the small minnows, and they have the pheromones that are impregnated in them. And you just slide that on the hook. Pat is using a scented minnow on a straight jig head. Barb is casting a Lucky Strike spoon. So these fish are aggressively feeding when they come in to spawn. So they'll hit anything that looks like a bait fish up to about 4 inches. So you can use Rapalas, you can use plastic minnows, spinners, spoons, they all work well.
Naviglue, the ultimate bolt shelter system, sport fishing sweepstakes.
It was really rainy out. It was Canada Day. I dropped my line down, got a big hit, started reeling it up, pulled it up. The hook came out of the mouth. My mom managed to net it. I got the fish out. We got a few pictures of it. Great way to end the weekend. It's a lot of fun.
We'd love to hear your fishing story. Go to our website and enter the Naviglue Sport Fishing Sweepstakes. You could win some great prizes.